We have over 26 breeds of gun dog in the Sporting Dog Pavilion, and as you can see, as they come into the ring, they come in all different shapes, all different sizes, all different colours, but they all have one thing in common. They're dogs that are used in the sporting field, be that on a driven shoot, a rough shoot, up on the moors, on the grouse. They all have specific jobs, and because they all have specific jobs, they're broken down into 4 main categories of sporting dog, where we have retrievers, we have spaniels, we have the setters and pointers, and the HPRs. They all do slightly different jobs, but as in all things, there's an overlap, and whilst the dog may be specifically designated as a retriever, it will still be able to flush game. While a spaniel is there to hunt, it's still expected to retrieve. So retriever's main role in life is to work on a driven shoot, where it will stand patiently throughout the drive with its handler. It won't run in, it'll be there with the handler, marking the birds as they drop, remembering where they are, and once the drive is over, the dog will be dispatched by the handler to go and retrieve the game. The only time that may differ is if a bird is wounded or injured and becomes a runner, and then it's really important to get that bird as quickly as possible so the handler may send his dog during the drive if there's a running bird. Spaniels are first and foremost hunters. You've seen them in the ring working today. They quarter and hunt the ground, they flush game, they drop to shot, and more often than not now, they will go forward and they'll retrieve the game and bring it back. Setters and pointers, well, they're traditionally the dog for the open countryside, and they're there to point, identify the game, point at that game, motionless, to allow the shooter to get into position to flush that game and take the shot. And finally, in here we've got the HPRs. HPR stands for Hunt, Point, Retrieve. And as you can see from that, it's pretty much all of the above. They'll do all those functions. So as I say, we have 26 breeds in the ring, and we'll start off by looking at the Chesapeake Bay Retriever. Where's the Chessie gone? Ah, here he is. So, in 1807, the British ship was wrecked off the coast of Maryland, and there were 2 survivors, and they were the ship's dogs, Canton and Sailor, and luckily they had a male and a female. These later proved to be excellent water retrievers, and they were bred to some of the local sporting dogs, and this new breed was developed, which they named after the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, where they were first bred. They're an extremely versatile dog. They are amazing swimmers, and they are great for duck and geese retrieval. They're an excellent upland game retriever, and they can retrieve any sort of bird or oddity that they're asked for. They've got a thick, oily coat, which they need to protect them from the freezing cold waters in the area that they're bred in. An amazingly handsome dog, and as you saw earlier on, not a slow coach by any means, as we saw in the challenge. So that's the Chesapeake Bay Retriever. Next we have the 2 finest dogs in the ring. That's the Labrador Retrievers, and I'm not in the least bit biased, but they're mine. Where are they? Oh no, we've got one that's not mine, that I like almost as much. So, the Labrador Retriever, or the Lab for short, it was once known as the Lesser Newfoundland, and it is the most popular breed of dog by registered numbers in the world. It is by far the most numerous dog, either as a pet dog or as a working dog. And if you are on any driven shoot in the UK, chances are you'll see the pickers up working with a Labrador Retriever. They have an amazing amount of patience, they're very tolerant, even with children, so they make really excellent companions. They also make really good pet dogs. They are phenomenal in the field at the job that they do, but as you know from just looking around, it's not just in the sporting field where they excel. They excel as guide dogs for the blind, hearing dogs for the deaf, because their temperament is such, their willingness to learn is so great. It's a truly wonderful dog. I also have Irish Water Spaniels, And the reason I keep Labradors as well is that it does help to keep you sane. The next dog in the ring is the Curly Coat Retriever. The Curly Coat was the first retriever to be used for some serious retrieving work in England and was exhibited as a recognised breed for the first time in 1860. It's the largest of the retrieving breeds, and it comes in two colours, which is black and liver. As you can see, it's a very similar colour to the Irish Water Spaniel. The early ancestry is unknown, but it's thought that it comes from a number of breeds that are now extinct. And that was the large rough water dog and the Tweed Water Spaniel and the Lesser Newfoundland. The temperament of the Curly is very self-confident, steadfast, and can be aloof, but it's active and intelligent. It's a charming and gentle, friendly companion, and it's also a determined and durable hunter. So that's the Curly Coat Retriever. Next in, we've got the Nova Scotia Duck Tolling Retriever, or the Toller as it's also known. I was quite surprised to learn yesterday when I was finding out a bit about the breed that this dog only came into the UK as late as 1988. Now the Nova Scotia Duck Collar Retriever is an interesting dog in that the way it works is very different from the way any of the other dogs in this field work. I think I got told off yesterday for saying that the Nova Scotia Duck Collar Retriever is the sneakiest of the gun dogs because it's used to lure ducks into a position whereby a huntsman can shoot them. So the hunter will be in a blind, it will send the toller forward to the water's edge, the duck will be intrigued by the wagging tail of this dog, come in to investigate what it is, and at which point the huntsman will then stand up, shoot the duck, and the toller will bring them back. So that's the origin of the word toller, and it's the toller bit which is it's enticing the duck in to be shot. Next we have the Irish Water Spaniel. Like all things, it can't be straightforward. So this is an Irish Water Spaniel, but in terms of how it's worked in both trials and in working tests, and its most common use in the field is that of a retriever. So it's classed in the retriever group, although it has spaniel in the name. They are a wonderful dog to own. They are full of character. They take an awful long time to mature, but when they do, they are super. Now, the colour is this. You will only see an Irish Water Spaniel this colour. The official title of the colour is Charming. That dog is Chocolate Puce. Liver puce, that's it, liver puce, which is even worse. So if anybody says that they've got a black Irish Water Spaniel, they haven't. It's liver puce or it's not an Irish Water Spaniel. A lot of people think that they all look the same, but if you take a close look as they come round, there are definite differences in appearance, in terms of size, coat type, head size, but they are very, very similar. Our most affectionate and loving dog. Next in, we have the English Springer Spaniel. This is the oldest of the British sporting gun dogs. The English Springer Spaniel has long been admired by the sporting fraternity for its ability to flush and retrieve game. It really is a first-class worker, combining agility and versatility, and it can act on all types of land. It's great on rough shoots, it's great on formal shoots. Sometimes I don't think it's its own best friend because they will run and run and run, and they will sort of work themselves to exhaustion. They are phenomenal dogs. And along with the Labrador Retrievers, on any formal English shoot, this is the dog that you will almost be guaranteed to see. They have an amazing ability to get into deep cover, and where sometimes that the Labradors can't quite get into that thick cover, the Springers have no problem getting in there. And just to annoy them a little bit, if the Springers can't get in there, I'm sure the Cockers can. Speaking of Cockers, the next in is the Cocker Spaniel. Now the cocker is one of the smaller breeds of spaniels, but again it can undertake most tasks. I'm sure if you look, you've seen pictures of a tiny cocker bringing back a hare, which is almost twice its size. I have seen a cocker give up on trying to bring a grey lag in once, but I'm told that if I waited a bit longer it would have worked. They're one of the smaller breeds of spaniel. The popularity of cockers has really increased over the last few years, and they're becoming quite a dominant figure in both the beating and picking up teams. Most cockers are natural hunters, but they're primarily used for rough shooting, to flush game, to enable the gun to shoot. And once the bird is flushed, the cocker will drop to shot, and if any of you saw the challenge yesterday, we had some wonderful examples of that. And the advantage of this little dog, as I said earlier on, is that the cover is really thick and dense. These dogs are able to get in there and flush birds out of really, really thick brambles, bracken or whatever. That's the Cocker Spaniel. Next we need to say Croeso to the Welsh Springer Spaniel. Where's the Welsh? Aha. This is a distinctive breed, and it can be traced back to the late 18th century and has remained remarkably similar to those shown in paintings in the early parts of the 20th century. The Welsh Springers are one of the few gun dog breeds that has not divided into show and working types, and many of the owners believe in that dual purpose ideal, i.e. training for work and breeding from sound stock and stock conforming to the breed standard. Although this can make training for the field sometimes frustrating and at time consuming, it's believed to have a good looking dog conforming to the standard and having the ability to do a full day's work, and that's what people are striving for. Fit, healthy dogs that can work all day. One of the things that you may notice when you look around these dogs is that we've got nearly 100 dogs, just over 100 dogs in the ring, and I defy anyone of you to find a fat one. These dogs all work, they all do plenty of exercise, and my personal bugbear is that there's no excuse for a fat dog. It's never going to be the dog's fault. These dogs are all healthy dogs because they are worked and they have focus in what they do. But this is the Welsh Springer Spaniel. If you get a chance to come into the pavilion and have a close look at them, they're very pretty dogs. They all wear mascara, they've got lovely little dark eyes, they are lovely dogs. They're always this colour as well, it's red and white. That is the only colour that you'll see these dogs. Next we have the Clumber Spaniels. I never have to look too far for Clumber Spaniels because there's always so many of them. According to the legend, the Clumber forebears were beaters and retrievers owned by the French Duke de Noailles. And at the time of the French Revolution, he sent a number of his dogs to friend the Duke of Newcastle in England, and they were housed at Clumber Park in Nottinghamshire. The current Clumber owners all endeavour to ensure the breed's physical soundness and healthy lines, and great work is being done to ensure that through proper training we are now seeing more and more Clumber Spaniels successfully working in the field. They're slower and more methodical than the Springers and the Cockers, however they do have a fantastic nose and they regularly find game missed by the more flighty counterparts. And I can attest to that. I remember the first time I worked with Clumbers, it was on a very, very hot day, on a very, very difficult shoot, and there were about 4 or 5 Clumbers in the beating line, and they literally started on the first drive and they did not let up till the end of the day. Phenomenal stamina, hard working and very affectionate dogs. That's the Clumber Spaniel. Next we have the French Spaniels. The French Spaniels. It's the oldest of the pointing breeds known in France. It's the favourite dog of royalty in the Middle Ages. The breed nearly became extinct in 1921, but a father Fernier took the task of rescuing the breed by gathering the finest examples available and working to preserve its lineage. What we know today of the French Spaniels is really due to his diligence and the knowledge that he's passed on to the modern breeders. They're a medium-sized dog, as you can see, with a white and brown coat. They've got a feathered foreleg and tail and a very open and friendly face. They hunt, point and retrieve, and they are an incredibly versatile dog. Intelligent and intuitive, and they work well with their owners. I hadn't seen them very much until last year at the CLA Game Fair. I saw them for the first time and I was vaguely interested. Now I really want one, and I think if I can get a puppy, I'm going to call it Brexit, because I think that's a brilliant name for a French Spaniel. So that's the French Spaniel. And we'll follow that with the Field Spaniel. The Field Spaniel came into being in the 1800s. With the onset of the show scene, some hunting men really wanted to have a big black spaniel to impress the judges in the show ring. So they created the Field Spaniel by mating the Welsh Cocker with the Sussex Spaniel. Fields were identified in the litter from Cockers and Sussex by their colour and size, and the Field Spaniel almost became extinct 3 times, but still remains one of our native vulnerable breeds. The breed has always maintained its dual-purpose status, with dogs being both shown and worked. They're not as flashy as the working Springer, but they do have, again, an extremely good nose, and they often find game that's been well tucked in. They have long ears to funnel the scent to their nose and a long muzzle to process it. They are the Volvo of the hunting species, being able to work all day and keep going. That's the Field Spaniel. Next in we have the Hungarian Vizslers. Do we have Hungarian Vizslers, or have they gone home? Ah, here they are. The Hungarian Vizsla was originally used for hunting and falconry. Today they're used as gun dogs and as companions. The Vizsla is an intelligent dog which enjoys being outdoors. They're ideally suited to a country-dwelling family. They have an inbuilt desire to protect their family, with whom they're very affectionate and loyal. They should be socialised at a very early age, and in general, they like to stay with their family and they'll not wander too far. They'll be happy both as a family or a working dog. However, they are sensitive, and as in most cases of most dogs, the training has to be firm, but fair and gentle. That's the Hungarian Vizsla. She's going to be followed in by the Hungarian Wirehead Vizsla. Now, this was created by the Hungarian hunters in the 1930s and 40s as they wanted a dog with a hard coat to face up to the weather and the cover. They are a completely different breed to the Hungarian Vizslas that you saw just before them. They're not a variant, as many people think. It is a different breed. They just share a very similar name. They make an excellent working dog and are equally happy in the beating line or picking up. They also work with birds of prey, and they have been used as tracking dogs for deer. I pick up on a small shoot in the Cotswolds sometimes, and there's a lady there who works 2 of these, and again they're exceptionally great to watch working in the field. They cover the distance really, really well, and to be honest, they work as a picking up dog as well as any of the Labradors that are on there. That's the German Wirehead Vizsla. Sorry? Did I say German? I wish I can't get on with Europe anymore. It's the Hungarian Wirehead Vizsla, sorry. The reason I said German is because next into the ring is the German Short-Haired Pointer. The German Short-Haired Pointer, and I'm daft to even try this, the Deutsche Kurzhaar, as it is known in Germany, or as it is known by English people who are trying to speak German. It was developed in the 1800s in Germany for hunting. The breed is streamlined yet powerful, with strong hindquarters, making it able to move rapidly and turn quickly. Moderately long, floppy ears set high on its head, and the muzzle is long, broad and strong, and this allows it to retrieve large, heavy game. Since the German Short-Haired Pointer was developed to be a dog suited for family life as well as a versatile hunter, the correct temperament is that of an intelligent, bold and characteristically affectionate dog that is cooperative and easily trained. When it comes to everyday family life, the Pointer is a recommended addition to the family. They're extremely loyal, friendly and fun, and that, coupled with the breed's natural instinct to hunt, means that training is an absolute necessity. The GSP has a distinctly independent character and a superior intelligence, so I'm told, which means that any unused energy can result, and this is their words, not mine, any unused energy can result in the dog amusing himself. Next we have the German long-haired pointer. Now the German long-haired pointer was known in Germany in the 1870s, having been developed by breeding setters, pointers and spaniels together. At that time, much experimentation was taking place with interbreeding of all types of gun dogs to establish the different types of characteristics required for sportsmen. In 1876, a concerted effort was made in Germany to standardise gun dog breeds and to ensure that pure strains resulted. The following year, the breed standard for the German long-haired pointer was established. Throughout Western Europe, the German long-haired pointer is regarded as an exceptional hunting, pointing and retrieving gun dog. The breed combines power with grace, pace with style, and displays a great and equable disposition. It is the dog for the true rough shooter. That's the German long-haired pointer. Next in, we have the Spanish water dog. I don't know if any of you were here yesterday when we had the spaniel section of the Sporting Dog Pavilion Challenge, but I will admit to it, and I'm ashamed to say I was absolutely blown away by the performance of this little Spanish water dog. It was superb. It was a wonderful dog. I find out today when I was talking to the owner that the reason it's such a wonderful dog is that it works all season up on the moors on the grass and has been placed in a trial. So it is a super dog. I spoke quite a bit about these today, and they were saying that in Spain it's generally regarded as a very masculine dog to have because it is a good and true hunting dog, and they'd like to encourage more people in the UK to think about the Spanish water dog when it comes to looking for a companion hunting dog. And it's one that really, until I saw one working yesterday, that I hadn't considered, but now I think it is a truly super dog. The history of the dog can be traced back as far as the Middle Ages and possibly Roman times. The most accepted theory is that its origins were that it was introduced by the Turks who traded in sheep, and they used them as sheepdogs, and in Spain it's sometimes called the Andalusian Turk. Lively, athletic and versatile, and incredibly intelligent. It's particularly noted for its ability to dive, and so not only is it good in water, apparently it's good underwater as well, and has been known to dive to depths greater than 6 metres. That's the Spanish water dog, which is followed by the Slovakian rough-haired pointer. First introduced in the UK as late as 1997, the Slovakian rough-haired pointer is the all-purpose gun dog, originally bred to work with a single man and gun, ideal for putting game in the pot. Originating from Slovakia, hunters wanted a dog that was biddable and did not range too far. The Czech test rules look for a dog seeking at 30 paces to the front and 80 paces to each side. So the amalgamation of 3 breeds, the Setsi Putzek, the Weimaraner and the German wire-haired pointer, these crosses took place in the 50s. So the appearance of the dog is described as distinguished, moderately strong build with a thick coat. A versatile worker, capable in field, forest and water, reasonably easy to live with, but early training and house rules are essential. Next in we have a Courtauld Griffon. There's Sage. Right, here we have Sage. Sage is only 10 months old. He was meant to have a companion with him today. I don't know where the companion is, but here we have a very young dog. The Courtauld Griffon is named after its breeder and developer, a guy called Edward Harold Courtauld. Today the Courtauld Griffon is a popular, again, HPR breed on the continent. A strong natural hunter. Makes an excellent rough shooting dog, but is at home both in open moorland and in close cover. The Courtauld Griffon is gentle, proud and very loyal, neither timid nor aggressive, guards his property well, but is also happily curled up in the fire, happily curled up by the fire alongside the family. He's an active, working dog requiring mental stimulation and challenges to keep him happy and content. If you look at the face, he must have that distinctive eyebrows and beard. Now, the standing joke among the Griffon owners is that the nice thing about having a Griff is that you get to have a puppy for a very long time. The rather bad thing about having a Griff is that you get to have a puppy for rather a very long time. But that is the Courtaulds Griffon, who's going to be followed in by the Bracco Italiano. And I won't be letting too much out the bag if I tell you that the Bracco was the only dog in the Sporting Dog Challenge that we've just held that scored a full 20 on its first run. The Bracco is an ancient breed. It's been noted in paintings and writings from the 4th and 5th century BC. It's thought to have come from crossing a Mastiff-type dog with an Egyptian coursing hound. In the 1700s, Italian hunters developed this dog for hunting, tracking and pointing game. Before guns were used for the hunters, these dogs were used to drive game into hunters' nets. The first of these dogs arrived in the UK in the 1980s, and today they are still very few in numbers. They're not a very difficult dog to train as long as there's consistency and firmness in that training. One of the particular characteristics of this dog is that they have a trot, which is an untiring gait with an extended gait, and this allows them to cover great distances with a minimum of effort. That's the Bracco Italiano. Next in we have the Brac de Verne. The Brac de Verne. We only have one Brac, do we? Two. Ah, okay. This is one of the ancient French HPR breeds. It's been present for more than 2 centuries. Each Brac breed was developed by the hunters of their particular region to work on game and conditions of that region. Now, the Auvergne region in France is a volcanic and mountainous area, so the dog has been specifically bred to work in mountains and volcanic environments. However, legend has it that they were brought to France by the Knights of Malta. They've been described as an out-of-the-box gun dog, and it doesn't take a lot of effort to train or handle. I'm tempted to get one of the handlers to come in and tell me how little training it requires, because I've never come across any dog that requires very little training. They adapt to family life in the house. They're very people dogs, never happier than when in physical contact with their owners. I'm not quite sure about this next bit where they told me they quite like sitting on your lap. They're also called the Bleu de Verne, which I presume means blue de Verne, due to the bold black colour of their shiny coat. They're also black and white in colour, but come in 2 pattern types. The more common black and white, usually a black background. Usually a black ground, usually a white background with a black spot. What do you call this colour variant? Charbonnet. Charbonnet. Oh, right, okay. Next in we have the Italian Spinoni. This is an old Italian breed used again for HPR. It's a hunting, pointing, retrieving dog. Spinoni, apparently, means stormproof, which is the sort of characteristic of that coat that they have. It comes in 3 distinct colour types, which is orange and white, lemon and white and roan. They're not the fastest retrievers, but they are thorough, and they're very loyal to their owners, and they're very much a one-man or one-woman dog. They do not respond well to harsh commands, and I'm also reliably informed that they are not for the house trapped. Next we have the Brittany. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking the Brittany is a Spaniel. In fact, at one time I think people called them a Brittany Spaniel. But in fact they are another of the HPRs. The Brittany was originally bred as a hunting dog and noted for being easy to train and being sweet-natured. It's very friendly and outgoing. But like most gun dogs, it needs focus. I think when you've got a dog that has got generations and generations of breeding, that I don't know if any of you saw Neil Barney's demonstration earlier this morning when he had a very, very young Springer out in the ring. That dog had had no training, but it knew exactly what it needed to do in terms of hunting and looking for things. That's come from breeding, and that's what the dog has been bred to do. So any dog that has focus is a happy dog, so you need to keep your dogs focused. So Brittany's are all-round sound dogs, excelling as companions and family pets and field dogs, eager to please, friendly, and generally learn very quickly. They're loyal and attached to their owners. That's the Brittany, which is an HPR. And today we should have a Gordon Setter, of course, Gordon Setters. We didn't have them yesterday afternoon. We haven't got them this afternoon either, have we? They have to get back to Scotland, so we don't have any Gordon Setters, I'm afraid. But we do have some Sussex Spaniels. The Sussex Spaniel appears to have been evident in the UK in the 1800s. A Mr. Augustus Elliot Fuller of Rosehill in Sussex, England, is credited with being their founder and kept them for 50 years until 1850s, and he kept them as working dogs on his large estate, although there were other Sussex Spaniel breeders at the time. Today in the UK we still have a very, very small gene pool. The breed was identified by the Kennel Club in 2004 as a vulnerable British breed, and puppy registrations for 2015 were only 43. The Sussex Spaniel Association was formed in 1924 for the protection of the Sussex Spaniel. The Sussex is a happy, healthy dog. He makes a good gun dog, a show dog, or a pet, and is very, very adaptable. They're a guarding breed and quite possessive of their owners. They're fine with people and children, but they need plenty of socialisation. Puppy classes, obedience classes, time and patience are a necessity. They live happily with each other, with other dogs, so they are usually the top dog. Thank you. That is the Sussex Spaniel. And last into the ring is the Weimaraner. Here we have the Weimaraner, the dog originally bred by the Indian state of Weimar in Germany, or it was the independent state, it wasn't Germany at the time, but for the qualities of its intelligence, companionship, beauty, and especially for the all-round ability to hunt, point, track, and retrieve over all sorts of cover, whatever the terrain. Once developed, the nobles of Weimar, who jealously kept their dogs from other ownership, preserved the excellent characteristics of these dogs, and when in the course of time the independent state of Weimar became part of Greater Germany, the German Weimar Club followed this tradition. And it was only in 1937 that the first Weimaraners were exported to the USA, and not until the end of World War II that any numbers reached outside of Germany. The Weimaraner was introduced to Britain by Major R.H. Petty in 1952, and as he had hunted with them while serving in Germany. Again, it's an HPR. You'll notice they have a very distinct colour, which has the technical name of grey, and that is the only colour they come in. So you will only have a grey Weimaraner, that's its one colour. So there we have it, the Weimaraner. That, I think, has taken us through all the gun dogs on display in the arena today. It's not very often that you get a chance to see this number of breeds in one place. It's always a great pleasure to bring them together. All these dogs and their owners will be in the Sporting Dog Pavilion again tomorrow. So if you have any specific questions or queries and you want to know anything more about these dogs, please, if you're here, go in and speak to them. They're all very, very knowledgeable, and I tell you truthfully, they will tell you the pros and the cons of each breed if you ask them very nicely. But thank you to everybody that's brought their dogs along. Thank you to the dogs for all being unbelievably well behaved over the last 2 days. Let's hope they can keep it up tomorrow. And ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for the parade of gun dogs from the Sporting Dog Pavilion and their handlers. Thank you very much indeed.
Round by round, the winning title.